George A. Elwood, born 1840 and died 1910, buried in St. Paul's Lutheran Church Cemetery. His grave is located towards the south end of the cemetery, near the southern path and border of the newer section of the cemetery. His headstone contains a Masonic symbol. While it may remain a mystery as to why the right worthy George A. Elwood and his wife Elizabeth Steinert of New York City are buried in the village of Red Hook, it is certain that the Masons were important to George Elwood, and he to them. A memorial to him, which dominates the monument surrounding it, testifies to this connection. The large, rough-hewn stone has two parts. 1/3 is rough natural stone juxtaposed with the majority of a smooth surface hewn from the rock and engraved with the name Elwood and the Masonic symbol of the builder's square, and a compass framing the letter G, either for the great architect of the universe or for geometry. The bottom of the monument states that it was erected to his memory by the Benevolent Lodge No. 28 of the Free and Accepted Masons of New York City, in appreciation of the many years of faithful service. It seems fitting that the stone seems to symbolize the origins of the Masons themselves. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the Freemasons began as members of guilds of stonemasons and cathedral builders. They evolved into a fraternal order devoted to philanthropy, states the website of the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the state of New York, based at the very address that held the funeral ceremony of George A. Elwood. That location is also the site of Chancellor Robert R. Livingston Masonic Library of the Great Lodge, named for Chancellor Livingston, a Mason himself and familiar to us due to his estate at Claremont. Close by the large stone are the small and simple tombstones of George and Elizabeth.
Red Hook. His grave is located on the north side, towards the center, on the north side of the path. It is marked by a large Civil War soldier monument. Frederick A. Martin's monument draws our attention due to its size and the Civil War soldier standing atop, commemorating Martin's military service. The inscription mentions his affiliation with the Fraternal Organization of Masons, before it notes that this location is also the burial site of his wife, Susan Neer Martin, who predeceased the same church in 1870, but she does not appear in the 1880 census. This inscription mentions his affiliation with the Fraternal Organization of Masons, before it notes that this location is also the burial site of his wife, Susan Neer Martin, who predeceased him in 1899. Their only child, Joseph Lewis Martin, predeceased him in 1902 in Red Hook at the age of 30. Frederick's survivors included 5 sisters, a brother, and his son's widow.
Anna married Martin Sheffield.
Martin was born in Barrytown, New York, on December 7, 1837, the oldest child of Joseph and Marguerite Serena Berenger Martin. His father was a lawyer in Red Hook, and probably the attorney mentioned as having offices in the Conklin and Allendorf building, according to Reminiscences of Red Hook by Edmund Bassett. Martin and his brother-in-law Beekman R. Neer, who was buried in East
George A. Elwood of New York died
Martin and his brother-in-law, Beekman R. Neer, who was buried in East Greenbush and lived to the age of 49, enlisted and served together in the Civil War. Martin enlisted in Company I of the 115th New York Regiment of Infantry on August 21, 1862, in
was
Ballston.
A member of Benevolent Lodge No. 28, Monitor Lodge No. 528, and Greenwich Lodge No. 467. End quote. The monument further emphasizes his importance to the Masons. Buried next to the Elwoods are Charles E. Elwood, George's younger brother, who was employed as a bookkeeper and was also a Mason, and was described as a worthy president of the Butchers and Marketmen's M.B. Association of 796 6th Avenue, New York City, according to the New York Herald of July 8, 1883, when he died at 37. Buried nearby also is Charles's wife, Sarah Howell Elwood, who died in 1912, and George and Charles's mother, Matilda Ann Elwood, who was also born August 26, 1818, and died August 17, 1863. There's also a tombstone for little Georgie, aged 9 months, with no other inscription. The family patriarch, John Elwood, is not buried in Red Hook. It seems that Matilda's husband, John, died before he was 40 and before 1860, because he is listed in the New York City's Ward 15 in 1850 and as a cartman when George was 10. But in 1860, George is listed as the head of the household and working as a clerk, and his mother is listed as a seamstress. 3 other Elwood siblings are noted then: Charles at 14, William at 11, and Josephine at 8. Matilda's burial in 1863 seems to be the earliest Red Hook internment for this family, about 5 years after her husband John's death. Perhaps she had family around Red Hook. Perhaps, like many others, the Elwoods were summer boarders in the area. We're not sure why a family so tied to New York City is buried here, but we do know that there was a connection to Red Hook. That link is evidenced by the Elwood monument standing out on St. Paul's grounds.